Peace, family. A few days ago, I did a video talking about how Donald Trump is such a prolific liar that major news outlets refuse to air his national speech due to ethic concerns. And I asked the question, where do we as Black people, how do we proceed forward from this point? Do we proceed as individuals deciding our own rights, freedoms, and liberties, taking ownership of it individually, defending it individually, and projecting it on others individually? Or do we proceed forward making these decisions as a race, as a nation, or as a group, where we all have a shared interest? We all play our pivotal role in preserving it, disseminating it, and defending it. To me, the choice is clear. When you live in a society based on individual efforts, individual successes, individual failures, is inconsistent at best. But if you live in a society where these decisions are made as a group, then you know not only you that live in your home, but those that live in your community all have the same fundamental values and principles. You can proceed safely and securely in your own community. This is the vision that I have for my people, especially in sight of having a president of the United States that's elected to office. And like I said earlier, is such a prolific liar. Major news networks that get their money and resources from viewers refuse to air Donald Trump's message. That should tell you something right there. When major networks is turning down potentially millions, if not billions of dollars, airing the President of the United States speech because of ethic concerns, that tells you that we're in a dire strait as a people. We're the most vulnerable out of them all. And see, and also as we go forward, we need to have some fundamental beliefs and values as we go forward. What is a true system of government? How can you tell if you're living in one? How can you tell if you're not? How can you tell if it's functioning? How can you tell if it's not? What is the least that you can expect out of a responsible, functional system of government? And what is the most? These are questions and concerns that most Black people have no clue. What are some of the telltale signs if you are living up under a dysfunctional system of government? And I'm gonna give you one of these answers right now. The fact of the matter is, when I see speed humps and ring doorbells on neighborhoods in our community, that tells me right there that we are living up under a dysfunctional system of government. And it has failed the people so completely that you have to put speed humps and ring doorbells on every community in the area. Because number one, with speed humps, you are not able to convey to the people are so dysfunctional, so uncaring, that when they say that you're traveling through these areas, that's crucial. You may have young children, blind, autistic children, and people are driving through these communities at such a high rate of speed that the government has failed to convey this to the people. The people have failed to govern their own selves, and now they put speed humps in your community. Now imagine your mother, your grandmother, your father, your boyfriend, your child sick and hurt, and you got to get an ambulance to your home. And your ambulance got to start and stop every freaking 50 feet or whatever to go over these speed humps. And that's just to get to your home. And once they find out the severity of this illness, the severity of this ailment, and now they got to get to the hospital, they got to travel at the same erratic pace, going all because the people are dysfunctional, and the government has not created a culture where the people can respect the government and follow his orders. The people had played no roles in the laws in their community, so they don't even pay attention to it. That's the sign that you're living up under a failed system. Also, when you see Ring doorbells on your own home, it is not to stop invaders from other communities coming in, stealing your property, or it's to stop your neighbors, people who you live with or next door to. They live in your own community that's coming up stealing from. Oh, I know she's gone to work. The UPS guy just got here. She won't be home for another 3 or 4 hours. I'm going to go over here and take her package. When you have citizens have to protect themselves from other citizens in their own community, that is a sign that you are living up under a critically failed system. In order to alleviate that, you have to have create a new system that the people can believe in, that they can take part in. And once these things are understood, then you can expand it to incorporate more and more people. I have been in conversations with people to talk about doing these exact things. And the problem that I'm having is they like my idea, they like my concept, they like my vision, but the problem is the name of my organization, which is Citizens of the African Order, which is an LLC. And we're not all Africans, Jonathan. Everybody don't want to do this. We need a movement that's going to incorporate all people. Look, there's never been an organization that incorporated all people that left an economic, political, social impact that you can go back and record this period of time in history. There has never been that. Period. There's no example of an all-inclusive environment that elevated the quality of life of all the people involved. There hasn't been. And when you think about living in a community where we have our own independent businesses, industries, and institutions, we're prioritizing our people industrially. We're paying ourselves livable wages, giving ourselves affordable cost of living. We're partaking in the laws that establish our government, our people, and our businesses. We're setting our own standards. We're educating our own people. We're setting the standards for our own employment. We're protecting it. We're defending it. We're preserving it. We're passing it on to our own people. You're gonna stumble across all of these benefits because you don't like the name. It makes no sense. And let's say, for example, that we did incorporate everybody. That means the slaves and the enslavers. That means the like-minded and the non-like-minded. That means the intelligent and the stupid. That means the whites, the blacks, the Arabs, the Asians, the Caucasians, all of them coming together to elevate the quality of life of Black people. How do you coordinate this effort? How do you make sure everybody's aligned and on the same page? How do you do that? How do you incorporate all Black people? When you think about the time of enslavement, when we were slaves in this country, and you had those that want to escape versus those who were sympathizers of the enslaver, and then you had those who just gave up on the thought of being free. How do you gather all these people up and drag them how many miles until they finally get it, risking the whole movement, the whole effort? It makes no sense. We have to start off with the smaller group of people. Create a system that they can believe in, that will make an economic, political impact, that will attract the attention of others, and then use that to expand. And then later on, once we get our fundamentals down and you want to incorporate other nations, they can do so. But they can never have access to our core. That's just the bottom line. These provisions should be in the hands of Black people, period. No other nation of people should ever have anything to say about how we educate, how we feed, how we provide our health, how we control our economics. how we establish laws for our community, for our people, for our children, for our businesses, for our community. These are discussions that nobody should be having with anybody outside of our nation. If we can't, as a people, decide these on our own, you will never get respect from other nations. Now, I don't care whether you decide to go along individually or collective. If you can't do for yourself, you'll always be a slave in this system. It's just as simple as that. But that being said, I'm in this video here. And as always, these are my thoughts, my opinions. I invite you to leave yours in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Ashe.